I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. There's gonna be some calling in Billy on the Board of Health, they said.
Okay.
So I guess being. What's that guy?
Chad, you want to come up here? Get up here.
Yes,
Get up.
me too.
I guess since he's not here, I'll call the Board of Health agenda call to order. Local Health Officer update, Dr. Kira Khan, is she on?
I don't see her on.
Sometimes she comes in and then if she's got an emergency or something, she'll come back. So
I don't
we'll
see
go
her.
ahead. Huh?
I don't see her.
Okay, so we'll just play it by the ear with her, Billy.
Okay.
All right, Chad, you're up.
I'm up. All right. So as far as the report from environmental health, we're still really busy with development, lots of septic permits still, lots of inquiries, people calling about property. Seems like there shouldn't be much property left to buy up there, but we still have a lot of people. I actually had a fella yesterday call me. We had sent him a record and sent a record to his lender. And it was a replacement system from 1998. And there was 90 feet from the well to the drain field because it was a replacement scenario. That was as good as it could get for a lot made in 1910. And he told me that the lender said that it was unfinanceable because of that. I've never heard that in 27 years. So I don't know if they're getting tighter with this stuff, but I replied directly to the financer and said, I'm the one that approved that in 1998. This is the scenario, it was a replacement. And she said, oh, okay, thank you for clarifying that. So I think that'll happen, but it was funny. I've never heard a financer say that's unfinanceable, especially with an issue like that. Sometimes we have no records and we still finance them. So anyway, people are still plugging along buying this very expensive property. So obviously people from somewhere. Mark's still working on the food inspections. We've got all our, it seemed like there was a great emphasis on some mobiles this year. We got all the new mobiles up and running. Obviously you see them up and down in town and at the events. We're working on inspecting at the various events that happen. So we're still trying to make sure that the organizers of these events understand to communicate with us who their food vendors are, so we make sure that they're licensed in their state. So, but you know, we've got people working with us really well. Blaine and I chatted the other day about the trailer in Drummond, and we're figuring out, you know, what the best way is to potentially site them to get them over the hump with the cleanup of that. I did drive by it yesterday, and the outside of it looked a lot better. It seemed to look pretty decent.
Yeah, they had all them people helping and everybody could take whatever they wanted. So that was kind of a cleanup deal.
Yeah, you usually attract people if you're giving stuff away. So
Where's
But
this at?
Diane,
it's,
go ahead.
Oh,
it's about a block away from
Go
the
ahead.
sorry.
motel.
What I didn't do.
It's about a block away from the motel. We've
In
been-
Drummond?
Yeah, in Drummond, yeah, we've been dealing with this for a while. Sorry, what your perspective, Scott?
Oh, I guess that he was saying that the county's gonna tow it out. I said,
Well, and again, I don't know where that came from. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned last meeting that the junk vehicle program has some available money to get rid of campers, trailer houses, certain things like that, but that'd be up to speed and you guys, if that's what you want to utilize. There's a percentage of the junk vehicle grant funds that you can use for things like that. They wrote that into the rules.
the worst thing about it is we can't get rid of it. Then we gotta pay somebody to break it all down and then
Yeah.
trying to get rid of it. And I mean, there's feces.
Yeah, it turns into an expensive scenario. Deer Lodge County had handled a handful of them like that. I know when Joe Orleretti was our code enforcement officer, there was a number of trailer houses that he had utilized some junk vehicle money for to get rid of them like that. He had contracted with Grossgold to take them, tear them apart, bring them to the landfill, but it's not cheap. And again, like we discussed, I mean, the thing is that that's a good final option maybe, or a final option, but you also kind of set a precedent that the next person that has a junky trailer, maybe they'll just stall out long enough to see if the county will come.
Well, that's the comment on, just a second, that's the comment on it right now is
Yeah.
if the county's gonna take care of that one, I know where there's 4 more coming.
Exactly, yeah, so the
I
snowball
just
starts to roll,
seriously
so.
think we better stop.
So we're trying to, yeah, I mean, if it was something the county put way up here as the #1 priority and how we need to get rid of this somehow, that's a method to get rid of it. But like I said, that may be a last resort kind of deal because it does kick open the door that potentially you get a flood of other things coming in that everybody gets in line, so.
I think there's an opportunity to have it removed and then we go after the landowner to put the cost on it. If he's not gonna move it. So I think versus just having it there for years and years being a nuisance because it is, becoming a nuisance.
Well, the
potentially.
deal is there, Blaine, is that if we go in and take it and then we gotta go back to him, why wouldn't he just make sure he does it himself? Why would the county wanna get a bunch of money invested? Cause it's gonna cost thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of dollars.
Well, then potentially the Board of Health and ordering him to do it.
And that it's not the county's responsibility to pay that to remove it, is that correct? Or is it the responsibility of the
Correct,
county?
yeah, I think ultimately, like Blaine said, you could go in and do call the remediation or whatever, and then turn around and put the cost of that,
On his
file it as a lien
taxes.
on the taxes. And doing that with the realization that if it's enough money that the county may wind up with that property and then turn around and have to sell the property. It's just part of the whole grant process. It happens like that sometimes. Silver Bowl dealt with a lot of that. I mean, they went and cleaned a lot of places up in Silver Bowl and put it on the taxes and wound up with, property on the tax rolls they had to turn around and
A
sell.
lot of that too, though, when they were doing it, remember, we checked in on it and you could actually get rid of stuff. Now you can't get rid of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff,
it was.
and it would cost the county thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it was easier. I mean, things
Yeah.
obviously get more strict. and more
Remember the
stringent.
trailers that sat here forever and ever and ever.
Yep.
I don't, my personal opinion, I don't think we're not in the trailer removal anyway, because then we got to hire somebody to do it, because we don't have guys enough to do it.
Yeah, if you were gonna do that, the best thing would be to contract somebody, but again, then they give you a $6,000, $10,000 bill to do it. I mean, I'll sit down with Blaine and we'll see if we can come up with options. Again, even if say the Board of Health were to order it cleaned up, what happens when time goes by and it doesn't get cleaned up?
Well, it's potentially a criminal.
it is
criminal
something,
land.
yeah, money in jail time potentially, but still,
Why,
that still doesn't get cleaned up.
okay, on that note, why wouldn't the city of Drummond have to be more involved in the county?
Sure. And
Because
again,
they're passing the buck to us.
yeah, that's fine details. All 3 of my counties are a little different. Deer Lodge County is the incorporated city county. That's pretty easy for me. But when we're talking about the county, towns and the counties and mayors and county commissioners, then the Board of Health really is kind of the ultimate step for the county. Whatever, even if it's in the municipalities, they're still the ultimate step of getting a hazard cleaned up.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
Okay.
That's a good point.
yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just play it out for now. and then-
I'll get with you
Okay.
sometime here soon and we'll sit down and we'll figure out
Huh?
what ultimate consequences may be and if we can actually accomplish what we're trying to
Okay.
accomplish by doing that. So
Alrighty.
we're working at it. I was glad to see, like I said, I was glad to see the outside of it look better.
Yeah, I mean,
That
they're-
helps.
they're doing some. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still gonna have to be the
Yeah,
inside.
the door was open
has to be.
I didn't walk up to it because I didn't have my mask. But I was down there for another appointment with Jason with the Line Ranch to look at some stuff he's doing and drove by there, so.
The guy west of town, he's slowly.
And again, I
But he's
mean,
picking little pieces up.
that's another one that we can, maybe send him a stronger, say, look, you are in violation, and, make him give us a time frame to finish the cleanup of that place and hold him to it. Sometimes that's the best thing is, say, look, you've got an ultimate time frame, and if you don't meet it, then you're subject to coming in here to court, so.
Alrighty.
So those two things will work.
Okay, do you have anything else?
I think that was
All right, well,
what's
we'll
going
jump.
on.
We'll go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll go to bi-county theft report from Jennifer Robinson. Is she on? She told me yesterday she was gonna call in.
She's on.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Good morning, everybody. My report to you today is going to be very short. I submitted the yearly report to the state for FEP. It was all accepted, which was amazing. They had no questions whatsoever. I did get this year's report. It's an inch thick. It'll take me a year to do all these grants. And with your guys' help in the community, I know we'll do just great. Nothing's changed in these grant deliverables that I've been looking at. Last week I was in Billings for the FEP Summit training. That was amazing. In the next couple of months, I will be implementing a new HON alert system for Granite County, and it's just by email. It's not going to go to your phones. It'll just be straight email like I've been sending now to you as a HON. But it will be coming through Javara, and Javara will actually do a statistics on how many people receive it, what we need to do to make sure people are getting the information about the health alert for the state. And I think that's about my report, because like I said, I submitted to the state. We did amazing. We didn't go over budget. And you guys are great to work for. And I do want to say thank you for signing the 3-year contract. I can't wait to work with you guys for more.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we'll go to Tri-County Tobacco Prevention Specialist Report, Amanda Bohr.
Hello. So you guys have a concert on the 29th, the We Are the Bold concert, and I have partnered with Healthy Granite Network and bought a table to be at that concert. We're going to be giving away some sunscreen, water, prevention materials, and have a trivia spinner wheel there. I hosted 4 art prevention classes in your Drummond library. They were pretty successful. We had about 35 youth attend. So they had 2 hours each time of free time to work on acrylics, watercolor, rock painting, and things like that. But we started off with a lesson about what your natural high is, how you can cope with stress by choosing healthy alternatives instead of substance use, and focused on some coping skills and peer pressure. We had 35 attendees throughout the summer, so that was really good. I have hired a Red Ribbon Week speaker to come to the schools in the Tri-County area. Her name is Dr. Heather DeBlasi. And so we're just getting a head start on Red Ribbon Week activities. We're also hoping to host a Tri-County video competition during Red Ribbon Week next year, but we're starting on the logistics of that event early. It's hosted in Powell County at the Elks Lodge and the Rialto Theater, but it's open to all Tri-County youth. And there will be prizes. There will be judges. We're looking for decision makers from all 3 counties to help judge those video competitions. And then dinner will be at the Elks Lodge. The videos will be shown at the Rialto, and then we'll have an awards ceremony afterwards. And then just like a housekeeping thing, the final state plan and quarter report has been completed and turned in. And one thing that's new this year that they asked us to focus on was, instead of trying to target all of the vulnerable populations that exist, just to choose one to focus on. And so I kind of reviewed what my partnerships look like in all 3 counties and decided to focus on veterans. And so I've already partnered with Maxville Food Pantry in the past, so I'll just do an update with them and check in on what it is that they need, kind of connecting the services throughout the 3 counties. Powell County has a new suicide prevention food and vet program. And so I've brought flyers already to the 3 counties from Jay Wood, who is the leader of that program. And then I also asked him if he would get a table at the concert, and he was able to get a table at that concert. So he'll be there too. And that's my report.
Okay, well, thank you. Good job. All right, public health nurse report, Deb Robinson and Jackie Bolster.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So we had our vaccine audit for Granite County last week, and we passed that with no issues. We're in the process of scheduling the Blue Cross van to come into Granite County, and we have it for 1 day, and we're still waiting on those dates. They're wanting to do it in September, and Deb's thinking that's a little bit too early, so she was going to contact them today, see if we could find an October date. Our maternal child grant was quarterly report was submitted on July 14th. We have 3 applicants for the opening we have for our home health aide. We have 25 clients and we have a waiting list, so that will be good if we can get somebody in here. I did have a conversation with the state of Montana, the home health director yesterday, and we're just trying to see what we can get into our county for home health services. So we've been working diligently on that. We're having a COVID booster clinic here at the Drummond office on Monday from 9 to 4:30 if anybody is looking for a booster shot. So, and we're working on back to school vaccine. So that's about the end of our report.
Thank you. Good job. Ashley Westfall's on. I didn't see if she has it. Her name's not on this, but I see she'd come on. So see what if she has something to say.
No, I didn't have any updates or anything. I think you all know I'm working with the Healthy Granite County Network. We don't have any big announcements or anything right now. I'm working on doing some naloxone training, like with the Granite County Sheriff's Department. I reached out to Tom Gates to see if he wanted me to do that training for the teachers when they do their PERS days before school starts. And then I still need to reach out to the volunteer fire departments in the area and see if they want that training too. But otherwise, business as usual and nothing really big to report on outside of things or any concerns to share.
Okay, well, thank you, Ashley. Director of Public Health, Leanne Holmes.
She is not.
She's not on? All right, well, we'll jump to the Board of Health discussion and decisions on issues.
Nothing was submitted or brought forth, so I don't have anything for you guys.
Okay, being none, any public comment? Being none, projected adjournment 9:30. It's 9:17, but we'll adjourn. And thank you, everybody. Good job.
Do we have a date for the next meeting?
It is
I was kind of hoping Leanne would be on there to just, tell her glad we're going through with the contract.
Does anybody know how the COVID's doing in the town?
Oh, we could ask probably Jackie. Are you still on there, Jackie?
For one thing,
As of yesterday, we had 7 confirmed cases.
How many?
7. Okay.
Confirmed.
okay, confirmed, but one thing is now that they have the home tests, they can test it and they're not reporting it.
Yeah.
So,
A lot are doing that.
yeah, so you don't really know what's out there because when my granddaughter got it, then I got it, and then my son got it, and then there was other people that got it, and I reported myself but others hadn't reported, and there's some that won't even test that probably had it, so. I mean, you don't
That's
know.
why, Blanche, that's why I said confirm.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
October 8th.
well, at least we have, okay, we got a comment.
It's really, Jim Baquet, local resident. It's really just a question. My wife and I both tested positive with the home test kit as well. Who do you report that to if you're trying to keep track of it?
To Jackie, the county health nurse, or?
Yeah.
I- Yeah.
From the hospital?
No,
Well, I think, and Jackie, maybe you can speak to this too, but I know that the home test kits have instructions in them. There's an app that you can download and then it'll upload your results from home. So you can report that way too, I believe.
And there's also a spot on the Montana DPHHS website that you can go in and put your positive results in there also.
okay, Jen's got a comment.
Oh, she doesn't anymore.
I think she was just going she was just going to tell what I just said about the DPHHS website.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. That answer your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All righty, well, thanks, everybody. Good job, and when's the next meeting?
October 18th.
October 18th.
8:30 or 9?
9. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you the next couple of weeks.
All right, sounds good.
We got 10 minutes before board of minutes. Yeah, that trailer deal could end up being a bad deal, Blaine. I went and looked at it. There ain't.
Well, I think we'll come up with a plan. I mean, that'd be the last ditch.
Well, like I say, why doesn't the city take care?
Yeah, I mean, they're,
Anyway. How you doing, Sue?
2 weeks in a row, you're gonna be an expert here. Yeah.
Going up. Put up with me.
You've done before. You'll be fine.
Vacation time,
first time since she's worked.
All right,
Yeah,
rest and relaxation.
yeah. It will be.
Yeah, I was hoping Leanne would be on there. There's a couple questions for her.
Mm.
Cause that other lady that was working here, her helper, are they replacing her too?
Oh, really?
Well, are they? I don't know. I haven't seen her here forever. You know, she's, yeah. It was just,
For Robin.
yeah, couldn't think of her name.
Yeah, Robin was working under the CIT grant that they applied for, and that grant expired in June, I believe. So I believe the position she was serving in Granite County expired in June, but I
Oh,
could be wrong, but I could reach out.
Who is it?
Robin.
Who was
Could you
working-
guys hold it a second, please? It's Robin. That she used to be down here on Tuesdays in the office.
Oh, okay.
She worked with Leanne. That's why I was hoping Leanne be on there, see if she's gonna come back and be here. She is one that she'd go, like when we had stuff going on with the sheriff and stuff, you know, she'd go talk to them.
Oh, okay.
So I was just curious if they're replacing her or she don't work here no more. Or-
Yeah, it was part of the grant for Granite County.
So
I'll
the-
reach out.
With the grant expiring, then she wouldn't be,
But I don't know if they applied again. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask Leanne, so.
I'll follow up.
gonna say, hey, Billy, no. She has her hand up.
Jennifer Robinson has a comment.
Go ahead, we still on.
Hi, guys. So that position that was Robbins, it ended on June 30th for the grant. So the grant was not renewed for Granite County. So she
Okay.
won't be there she won't be in Granite County anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
I just curious, we didn't hear nothing, so.
She might be able to answer your questions that you have for Leanne.
What's your question, Scott?
Well, I was just curious what was all going on with, you know, like, I was hoping Leanne would be on there this morning, just so we know what, with this new contract, if everything's good. And there's just this little stuff that, you know, and Robin, I was curious about her and you answered that.
Yeah, so as of for Robin's position, that grant was completely done on June 30th. And then as for the contract that you just signed for the 3-year contract, that is for Deb services for the public health nurse for 3 years, and it is for the FEP position, so my position for the next 3 years. So that
Okay.
way we don't have to have it done every year. Now it's every 3 years. So you'll see Deb and I's lovely faces for 3 years.
Well, that's what I was just kind of curious on that. And then just in case if somebody needs this office down here now that we know that she's not gonna be in there. Is another question I was gonna ask Leanne. Is she done completely out of there or, you know, did she get all her stuff? So I guess that's just little stuff I was gonna ask Leanne.
Right, I believe Robin has no items there in Granite County courthouse. I think she's cleared all her stuff out. The only body that's in the Granite County courthouse in that in the public health part of it is Jackie, Deb, and I.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just figure out what was going on.
Amanda has a question.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay,
You got like just a
Oh,
couple
now you
minutes.
did it. There you go.
I don't know.
Oh, now we can hear you.
There we go. Tobacco prevention uses the office too. I come in there occasionally.
Okay, well, I guess you guys all know who's coming and going. I was just curious. Thank you. No, we still have 3 minutes. All right, we're gonna go into the board of minutes. We're 1 minute early.
I make a motion that we accept the board minutes for July 19th, 2022.
I'll second it.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Most been carried and passed. About 2 minutes early on the correspondence. The first one's a DEQ. We'll move on. The first one's a DEQ correspondence, one on Sun Mountain lumber, the groundwater stuff.
Not in Granite County, correct?
Correct.
So why do they send us these form letters? if it's not
Everybody,
even-
because where you've got license and stuff, and anybody that has DEQ license and stuff, everybody gets it
I
in
see.
statewide. Okay, the next one is from Fire Chief Eric Britton, how to say it. Anyway, this is reaching out regarding a request for the Anaconda Fire Department ambulance made by Granite County Dispatch. They were on Trails End Road. This was well beyond our service area and well within the jurisdiction of Eagle Ambulance. Well, anyway, I talked to this guy yesterday because I got the email and I thought I better find out a little more facts on it. He talked to the sheriff yesterday too. And he thought that we should just sit down and have a meeting here coming up pretty soon, like a week or a couple weeks, and we can sit down, have the sheriff and then figure out. And I told him that, I said, we are not in contract with Eagle. Everybody keeps saying that we have a contract. We don't. He was like, oh, okay. Well, what he's saying that he's worried that they're coming too far. And then if they need a call, they're 30 minutes out from Anaconda, the fire guy here. And I understand what he said. And like I said, well, we're trying to figure out, well, maybe, you know, if we can all sit down and if Eagle talk, you know, if they could have an ambulance up here, then they can cover that area more, you know, up around the lake and that. So that's just another one of the things, but I think we need to sit down with him and with Scott and the ambulances and stuff and just go over and see.
Yeah.
Phillipsburg's not responding, you know, so. And it's taken the day that they couldn't get hold of Eagle, they were out on another one.
So where's this place at?
This is coming out of Anaconda, the fire.
So where's this address at?
The one that
Trails
they came
End?
to, Trails In. I'm not quite sure where that
It's
is.
around maybe by the lake or something, somewhere around there.
So,
Yeah, I've
dead
never.
end road up there or something.
So anyway, but he was really good about it, Matt, and he talked to Scott, so Scott and him had a pretty good chat, but I think he'd like to, maybe if there's gonna be something with Eagle, that they could be on board and that we all could kind of figure out where maybe a split area is or something, so with the safety, it's all about safety, and that's what he said too. But he's worried about his taxpayers complaining that they're coming into Granite County, same old stuff, you know, so.
So should we get a hold of Eagle and see if they,
Well, I think it's time that, I mean, we've been waiting kind of on the budget and that, the only one that's responded is the volunteer ambulance. And I think we need to have a meeting, but I just soon have a meeting independent with each one. So we're not gonna have a great big blow up where you're doing this and this. I don't want to get in that. I just think we need to figure out what we can do with Eagle Ambulance and what they're, you know, where they want to be. then we can sit
They're still
down.
responding, I think.
They're doing really good and everybody, the highway patrol, I was out on the wreck the other night. And they just can't, they said, we have nothing against your volunteers. We never have, but it's just nice to know that you make a call and this is coming. Even if both of them show up, it's, you know, it's awesome.
Drummond's still making calls in.
They haven't lately, but they're gonna start. So, I mean, it's time to move on.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Blanche.
with this letter, they're stating that they don't want to come up here because it's not in their area. And Peaburg isn't responding. According to the sheriff, they haven't responded in a year. The Peaburg ambulance. And I got a call from the sheriff's office and from Scott. I don't know if he called you guys about going and taking some materials out of there that are ready to expire and giving them to Eagle. He didn't call you on that?
When was that?
Hmm?
When?
Yesterday he called me.
Oh, no, I haven't talked to Scott, but I called because the lock got changed on the ambulance shed in Drummond. And we gave Scott permission to use, it's a county building. So we gave permission for him to go in there and use that, because a lot of times they take people in there and do interviews or whatever. So anyway, they got it changed and I called Frank Prince's, which is the chairman, and he said there's been all kinds of stuff being stolen
Out of Peaburg's?
no, Drummond. And so he talked to Scott and I haven't heard back from him.
Okay, so what Scott did, he got something out of there and loaned it to the Eagle ambulance. Well, and then he was gonna get some stuff out of the Peaburg ambulance, and I said, well, you can't really do that. You need to talk to the president of the association. You really can't just go take stuff that belongs to another fund because they're not making runs.
Okay, but on that note, that we sent a letter to Pat to have his resignation and he won't get back to us. So I mean, if it's something that they need like right now.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is where we need to get it on the agenda and decide whether or not we're going forward with the volunteer ambulances.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we need to sit down
And
it's time.
they're not responding, so we have it on the agenda. Probably needs to run what? Just have it on the agenda stating whether or not we're going to dissolve the volunteer ambulances, and then maybe they'll come. You see what I mean? And because we're getting this, and then Scott's wanting to give materials before they expire to Eagle, because Eagle is making the calls that they haven't been able to get. They're very happy with Eagle, the sheriff's office is. So I think this letter right now brings it forward where we have to get it on the agenda and make a decision.
And I understand Scott going and getting this stuff, but who would you get a hold of to get permission to do it? They won't even call back. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, and I talked to, and Patrick won't get back. He's done. And we can't get a letter back of we want him to send us in a letter of resignation, right?
But yeah.
And
We
you have,
sent them an email, haven't heard back. And ultimately, the commission has control over the association, so
Okay,
having it on the agenda.
that's what I told him. I said, if you can't get a hold of them, then you'd bring it to the commission. But you just can't go in and take it
Agreed.
because you're the sheriff. I didn't say that, though.
I mean, if there's an emergency, it's different, but yeah, I agree with
and
what you're saying.
the stuff in Drummond, I don't know who's, Frank said that I had it on a message that they took a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know.
I've heard, and hopefully they get to the bottom of that. I also think that in reading that letter, I think Anaconda Ambulance is willing to sit down and potentially work out a memorandum of understanding where they potentially would take some calls in that when Eagle couldn't, and then maybe Eagle could take some calls. And
That's what he
so,
said.
yeah, I think there's something to be worked out there.
That's what that guy said yesterday. He was really good to talk to. He said he's not trying to stir up a thing, but he has to answer to his people. And
No, we need it.
yeah, I mean, and if they can work together, that was a whole deal. And that's why we was with volunteer, if they could work together with Eagle, but it just seemed like it didn't, that one was anyway. So I think it's time.
Yeah, and this needs to be decided before we're certified and it's levied, which is,
Another thought too is you could decide not to dissolve the ambulance associations, but then not levy funds. So
yeah,
then anytime that you wanted later on, wanted to just redo it, then it'd be easier to do it, and you can start and decide to levy funds. That's another thought.
when that's what they did with the TV districts.
Yeah, yes,
They kept the district, but they just didn't levy.
yeah.
So that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a, yeah, yeah, I agree.
And I want all the people, the public to know, it's nothing against the volunteer people. They've done awesome. They've done what they can, but they got lives and stuff and trying to make a living. So I don't want them thinking that it's just, you know, we're not throwing them under the bus. Any public comment on this?
Yeah, I'd say agenda item coming up. then,
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna move on into public comment. I kind of let it overrun there, but I think it was time we talked about that ambulance stuff.
Yeah.
All about safety and stuff. So, and then I think we need to talk to hospital too. Gonna have to have a little help out of there somehow. You
Is
know?
Eagle making runs to the hospital now?
Yeah, so I mean, they're pulling away when they need to transport. I just think it needs to be sat down and see what we can all figure out, make this work.
Yeah.
So that's Maria, probably want to be on that too, Billy or Sue. So anyway, we'll move on to public comment. Any public comment? Go ahead.
Jim
Can
Buckhead.
you come up? Please. You're right, yeah, that way we, that,
Yeah, and then we can hear, yeah, and so can,
okay,
On June 14th, I brought up some wire wrapped wood piping out on Stewart Lake Road. I don't know
somewhat.
if you remember, on June 14th, I brought a picture of a bunch of water pipe that had been pulled up out of the road or side of the road and just stacked up, looked kind of bad. And I talked with Paul after the July 5th meeting, and he told me that was the Public Works Director, that was the city of Phillipsburg issue. It wasn't a county road issue. So I contacted the Public Works Director via text and showed him the picture and said, hey, this looks kind of trashy. Could you all pick it up, dispose of this pipe somewhere so that people going up to the lake don't have to look at it. They did the same thing at some they dug up at the water tower 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, make a long story short, that gentleman contacted me on, I think it was June or July 15th, and said that basically that's the city of P-Bird's right away, and if they want to put that there, they can. So he also kind of got on to me for contacting him on his private phone, but that's the number I was given. So I looked it up on the website. He has no work phone listed on the P-Bird directory, so I'm not sure how to contact him now, but
What do you,
I'm just trying to figure out if it's a county road thing, because it's on the county road. All I'm asking is to get the trash off. It just looks bad. So I'm bringing it back here because he's saying that he can't do anything about it. I have contacted the Bureau of Land Management District Office in Missoula, and they are looking into it. A lady named Lana, I think, is supposed to get back to me this week. But just to give you an update, I'm still trying to track that down to get that water pipe cleaned up.
what do you say?
It is Sam's. It is the town of Beaver's deal. It's not ours. And it's their old water line. They dig it out and replace it with the new stuff.
is it in the, on the county road? Is it in the county road
It's
right
within
away?
their right away. They have.
It's there right away? Oh.
They have it
okay.
right away as well.
Okay.
Because the water pipe runs through there, and it's strictly their deal.
Just to
How
give you
much is
this,
it?
I'm sorry,
How big is it?
it's probably 60 or 70 feet in about 5 or probably 7 to 10 different pieces. But they just kind of dug it up and it's just sitting there all crossways looking. It just looks like someone using it for a landfill to me. I pick up that road every morning when I walk it, trying to keep the litter down, and it just kind of, it was strange to me when I contacted the city official that he was, in his answer, I don't see how this affects you in the least. Kind of short, like, I don't, we do what we want to do. So that's why I went to the BLM to see if they could help me with it. But
Well, if it's the cities, it's their deal to clean it up. We don't.
It's strictly not.
Not doing us.
Is it a safety issue where potentially
He's
gonna
just saying it's just
just
like
a
shit.
more of an eyesore than a safety
well,
issue?
it's on, you could hit it if you veered off that way, I guess, but it's that big 9-wire stuff that they wrap around it. I think it just looks like landfill stuff. The last time they picked it up and put it over by the volunteer fire department in that little area they're building up. And I'm really not, I don't understand why they won't just clean it up after they remove it.
Go ahead, Brian.
Did you talk to the mayor at all, or did you just talk? You talked with Sam Dennis, is that?
I texted Sam, he texted me
Oh.
back, and I sent it back saying, I'm sorry, I contacted you on your personal phone, but that's the phone number I was given. I won't do it again, but my position is it should be cleaned up.
You probably should talk to the mayor.
So,
Yeah, and I guess I would go maybe to a council meeting or even call the mayor and say, trying to do tourism in the county and this doesn't look good. If it's garbage, it needs to be removed. Would you leave your stuff laying around like that?
We don't. When we replace culvert, we pick them up and take them out of this.
So would it be a hazard to like snowmobiles if there was snow covered?
you could make the argument, probably not.
I just move it on to let the cities, let them worry about it. But we'll get a hold of them.
Well, I'll contact the mayor, and like I said, I'm supposed to get word back from the BLM representative. I just thought I'd bring it up and give you an update on what
Okay, thank
they're
you.
doing. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Do you want me to talk to the mayor or just?
I think he can do it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no,
All right.
I'm just saying it
All right.
is, and then he's got the pictures and he can explain his concerns and that to the mayor Reddish.
Well, that's kind of a bad attitude to have. It's ours and we can leave it where we want to leave it.
Maybe he's having a bad day.
A bad day. Well, you can't have bad days.
Remember that.
Did you just say that out loud?
We all look at him. That backfired, didn't it? All right, any other public comment? All right, we're gonna go into road and bridge weekly report with Paul and solid waste is on to. Go ahead, Paul.
So I talked to Bill and he's gonna go up and look at these bridges, give us kind of a rough idea of what we think it might cost. And the bridges that I haven't looked at are
when we get them prices from him, we don't want.
No.
Everybody else will use them or underbid his price. This way it'll be just like we've done before.
When we get the stuff, then we'll just have a closed session and go over what the information we got. My opinion.
Sounds good.
Because we can't talk about prices in an open meeting. They expect him to bid on. Everybody would have his prices.
What else?
Just they're passing down Rock Creek and they're wrapping up on Travelers right now. Magnet. Getting it plated. Yeah. That's it, just chasing from one road to another, basically. 100-degree weather, pretty hard to keep them all laid down.
Lot of traffic too.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have anything for us? Are you done on the? Or what's this?
The encroachment stuff for that Blackfoot,
Oh, okay.
sort them out.
These are all the ones that we talked about. The things we signed and. Right?
Yeah,
Can you sign this a package deal? You gotta sign each one.
Well, I drafted it for one you signed to cover all of it.
That's why I wasn't even digging through that last one. You guys have any comments?
One,
two on, give it.
yeah.
Do I need a motion on this? Or well, we've talked, we was gonna do it. so.
But you proved it, I believe, subject to Paul going to look at it, but you could do a motion on it, yeah.
And entertain a motion on the review of the application.
You sign them or do I have to sign them also? They're in my area, aren't they?
It just says chair.
Hmm.
It just says chair sign.
So I
Chairman
don't,
sign.
I don't understand why motion. It was, we've talked about it before.
I
And
just asked if we had that.
that's what
Just,
I'm
well, there's-
asking why.
there's, I guess, to approve the language in it would be good. Talking to Linda, she wanted to make sure it was narrow and limited in scope just to county roads. Right away, they're not given permission on something that we don't have. And so, yeah.
So would that be considered when you're looking at the Road and Bridge Weekly Report? That is considered part of the discussion where we'd make a motion in the weekly report? Because it's not saying, okay, we need to make a motion on the language in the,
If you're good with it, then I think,
Same.
I don't think it's,
do you think there needs to be a motion?
Hmm?
Do you think there needs to be a motion?
We've never had one before.
yeah.
I just didn't know where it was. I just want to make sure that.
Well, we just want to make sure,
Yeah.
that this is actually on the agenda before we make motions.
Well, if,
That's why I'm saying, is this considered part of the Road Weekly
yeah,
Report?
yeah,
And
it'd
so
be
would-
it'd be sufficiently on the agenda to do that, but if you feel like you've already approved it, then.
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Why make a motion?
agreed.
It was just me asking,
Okay,
so we'll pass on
then no.
that. All right, what do you got for us on solid waste?
Not much, everything's good. Gonna go take Jody's tractor on Monday and do some work on it. Other than that, everything's going fine.
Did you let her know?
She does, she knows already.
All right. So,
Well, one of the other issues is if you're gonna require a bond up there, but you've been waiving the bonds.
Yeah, we've never had to put one in yet.
Talking more at your lodge or Pop County.
Not yet. No.
I heard they got a mess going on, so I probably won't. It'll be
They got
a little
what?
bit.
What?
Oh, they're still trying to get through stuff. Till they get theirs lined out, I don't see no sense till, you know. Okay, is there any public comment on this? Alrighty. We still have 6 minutes. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and we are mowing too. Started out on Ross's Fork and Middle Fork, then we're going over East Fork into Georgetown Lake, getting all that higher stuff down and then make the loop down into the lower valley. We're just,
Do we have a water truck?
it'll hold, no,
It's going like in the green up there yet?
it's still green, yeah, but
I just.
no, if it
Get
gets that
down
way, we'll
here.
run a water truck with it, but
Okay.
so far we're not.
So this is a comment that I spaced it. When you're turning and talking to him, well, I can't hear what you're saying. So that's why it was easier if you would remember next week to come and sit there so that he has to talk to you where we both can hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
I
that's
forgot.
fine.
Okay,
That's fine. That's.
would
why
you
I
do
asked.
that? Try to remember that.
I should have had him more. That's why I asked you.
I had to block that camera. Yeah, I'll sit there.
Sit there all-
She can move around it.
Gonna have to get the wide view to get past.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I can't when you talk to him. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sure Chuck doesn't either.
What the-
All right, well, I'll get out of your hair then.
Is there any comments, public comments on the?
Do you want me to let Jason know?
I'm actually gonna take Jason a copy.
Yeah,
I need to talk to him anyway, so,
perfect.
So that couple deals in marked there on the bond.
yeah. All right,
Thank you.
have a good day.
Oh, I was gonna ask him if maybe, would you guys care if I ask him, maybe throw the water on that house down there? On the yard, not the house, on the yard, and, cause it's starting to brown, we got it mowed and the guy trimmed the trees, so.
Yeah,
And I go by there a couple, 3 times a day, I could move it too, just keep it looking nice.
yeah,
You
that's a
care?
given. Go for it. If you see it brown, water it. Of course, I can't water mine. It just slopes like this and the wind blows and
Mine's still real green.
yeah, well, mine is starting to get brown.
Get that permit, there's another place.
He said he would. I just think a guy needs to keep it, because it's starting to really
No,
go
you're-
brown. We mowed it, cleaned it up, picked the garbage up, but did a lot of garbage there, you know, people going by and putting stuff out, so. I went out and there, it's there, but whatever. He'll pick up a couple hoses.
They
and
throw garbage out right in the middle.
Beer cans. I picked up a few of that and a couple bottles, and there was some old strapping laying there that he tried to use for killing the weeds, and I picked all that up the other day before he mowed. So just want to make it look
Who
nice.
mowed it?
That his name's Jamie Atkins. He's a guy, he runs my tow truck now and then. He took his own lawnmower out there and then he trimmed the trees and everything so he can get underneath and actually mow it. He's gonna buy a weed eater. I said, well, don't get too excited, because when the guy moves in, he can take care of his own stuff. But we might have to do it one more time before he gets there. Just keep it up. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Brandon Parrott, Dam Tenders Report, Georgetown Lake outflow review and discussion. It's there at 3 inches below. I drove by it yesterday and wasn't good,
I
but
think we have a leak in the sky.
it's going up.
You know, because the wind blows every hot and the wind blowing every day.
Yeah, when I come by there yesterday, it was just about 11:30 and it was blowing hard up there. But it wasn't going over. I keep getting calls, oh, you're losing so much over the spillway. Hell, the spillway's dry. So I get,
Yeah, it's 3 inches below, so it's the wind doing it.
yeah, and then the boats come in there and they whirl,
Yeah.
and I mean, we're gonna lose water. That's all there is to it, but I think we're sitting at 30.
You gotta stay there.
Yeah, I don't think we dare do nothing right now. And hopefully when they really need it, maybe we can give them 5 or 7 or something just to work. But once again, is Fish and Game on? Brad Learman. See, this frustrates the hell out of me that they won't be on for a couple minutes, at least give their comment, or the people at the lake say, hey, you know, it's.
Right.
But then as soon as something happens, then it's like they think we can fix it.
You talked to him last week about going through the commission and
I talked to Blaine about it, and we talked about it, that no more of that going, you can do it on Tuesday mornings with us all here. And yes,
Well, if there's during the week, then you can talk to Commissioner Allen.
but this is a time when we talk about it, and then we're all here and we can make a decision. It's not just going, you know, and I just didn't like it when he was going to Blaine, and then it's not Blaine's fault, but it's just that he needs to be talking to us, because we're the ones that make the decision. If there was something asked legally, then fine, but I don't know, it just frustrates the hell out of me. He's not on again.
so I'll move to stay at 30, see if that's.
I'll second it.
Any public comment? Or all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
It's doing a good job. Running that thing perfect. I mean,
I
Yeah.
think,
perfect shape, really.
Yeah.
do you think, maybe I guess this is just. Well, it's not, it's just, do you think we could send, maybe Brad's boss a letter and say, why can't he be on? So.
Stepping on toes a little bit. Could we maybe have his phone number handy and call him?
Well, we've asked him to be on, and he's always got an excuse, vacation or something else, but I mean, this is really, when something goes bad, then
the issue, I think him and Pat are, I mean, I think they're, I don't want to say friends, but I think if you wanted to go to anyone, it'd be the governor probably.
Well, I've
That's
had
what I would
better
say.
luck, I've called Randy Arnold before too, and said, hey, this is, and Pat's really worked with us and said,
Yeah.
this is a time we need to be talking about this, not during the week, unless there's an emergency. I think we need to send a letter, and
Okay, that's someone.
Okay,
I'll move to send a letter to who?
I have Randy Arnold. He's a
Randy
supervisor of
Arnold.
Fish, Wildlife and Parks in Missoula, and just tell him that we
Brad being on.
agenda. When we're talking about it, he should be on the phone or instead of waiting and not doing it during the week. Like to hear his comments when the public are here. I have a second.
Second,
All in favor? All in favor?
aye.
I'm not trying to cause trouble, but it's just, all I do, this stuff comes down and when it gets too low, then we are in trouble. We still have 10 minutes on. Did Brandon send anything in?
No, I didn't get anything from him today. I was gonna follow
Okay,
up
he
with
said
him.
the other day might be just a little bit late getting it, so I didn't know
Okay.
if it came, because,
Okay,
he's doing a good job.
yeah,
That's what he said, and then I went up, come by there yesterday, and it looks good. Better than some of these others. The banks all look good and went down, the whole way down that Flint Creek.
Nice.
No, you can come on up.
I'm good. I sit all day.
You can sit there more.
Yeah.
Have,
Put that other
Mr.
chair.
I'll sit over here and then.
can we have Mr. Richmond sit?
Oh,
Because it'd be easier.
I'll sit over here.
Just do it. I need frontal.
I'll be over here, I'll speak up.
Okay, do you want to sit right here? Thank you. I want you to stare me in the eye. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
fine. I'm happy to do whatever you need.
Well, it's easier for you to be centered with the three of us than, so I can hear everybody.
I like being the center of attention.
Still have 7 minutes. Yeah, on that. I wasn't gonna make that big a deal, but I think he needs to be.
Well, I guess we could just say, call him and say, can you put it on your agenda every Tuesday to speak with us, to be there for a few minutes, or?
I agree with Scott though that he's asked. I think he's just,
He's a-
and maybe not, maybe he's out of seltzers. I don't know.
Yeah. But if we're not gonna get him,
Good call.
what did you say? Say it
He's
again.
rolling.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Mhm. But I just think this is the time of year that it's actually, we really need to have them. Because, you know, I'd like to ask them, you know, we're saving it here, you want us to save now, we're gonna be able to let some more go, and these
Yeah.
guys actually are gonna need it. We all need to be on board. I mean, it's saving it now, but here come another month, can you give a little bit? Take and give together.
Yeah.
Should be in good shape, so.
Well, I guess, you know, they're haying now, but they're getting wrapped up, so it's gonna become.
Then they want to get a new kind of growth started and then be ready
After the
for,
fall,
yeah. So they'll need it.
We're gonna keep the banks the way they
Yep.
are. Dan Hoffman texted me, and wonder if we could.
I was wondering why you went that way. Got a
I'm not a hurdler.
hazard right there.
Our extension.
Dan Hoffman texted me, a local rancher, and wonder if we could give out more water.
Mhm.
I said, not right now, staying the same, maybe down the road here, see how it is. I hope we can give them some, you know, and we're doing good right now, so.
It's little rain down that way Sunday. The rain up here?
Oh, 4 minutes.
Yeah, pretty quick.
That wind something.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying things out.
All right, we're gonna go ahead with the 10:15 agenda item. It's Kenrick Richmond to discuss the 3%. Was it on? Is that why it's beeping? Or-
It was beeping something else.
Oh, okay. All right, I didn't know if I started.
You're fine.
I'm like a minute early. Anyway, Kenrick Richmond to discuss the 3% local option excise tax for recreation and medical or
Medicinal.
medicinal marijuana for the general election ballot discussion decision. First thing I want to say, we're gonna run this meeting and it's gonna be, we're all gonna get along and go through this good. If it gets out of hand, it'll just get shut down. That's for everybody, so go ahead, Kenrick.
Well, originally brought the 3% tax for recreational, but in the last meeting, I was enlightened that y'all had discussed both rec and medical in December and tabled it for whatever reason. I don't necessarily agree with putting it on 3% for the medical because they already pay to get the privilege of having that, and you don't necessarily tax prescription drugs. So kind of.
They're not prescription drugs.
It's medical marijuana, ma'am. So it's a medical product endorsed by the state and is provided to
Okay.
people who pay a service.
Okay, let's just one at
Pay
a
a
time.
service.
It's
to
not
be-
prescribed. It's recommended.
Okay, when
and-
you get a green card from the state
Right.
of Montana through the Cannabis Control Division,
Okay,
Department of
go ahead.
Revenue.
Sorry, it was my fault. I shouldn't interrupt.
Okay.
And I was just trying to establish
Okay,
that I was
okay,
bringing the
breathe,
3%
everybody.
tax.
Okay,
for
we're gonna stop
recreational,
right now. We're
and
gonna
that's-
take a big deep breath and we're gonna start over. Okay, so
Okay.
we're all just, let's stay calm. All right. go
Well,
ahead.
just one thing I want to say is you can't recommend the commission not to put it medical on if they choose to.
I'm
Okay.
fine with either.
Oh,
Okay.
no, he's just gonna give us public, he's just giving public.
I'm just giving my
Yeah.
spiel that I kind of gave last week and was enlightened that y'all had talked about before, so I'm conceding, but I'm just giving my position, which is what I'm allowed to do, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. I'm giving my position.
it's all right. We're gonna get through this.
I mean, it's not rocket science. We just want 3% of recreational to allow it to go for tourism dollars to help the county, period. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
And
go
two
ahead.
separate initiatives if you want to do it. I don't want to lump them together if possible
Oh,
because they're not the same.
It has to be two separate ballot
Good.
issues. It
That's
can be
all.
the same resolution by the commission, but it's definitely two separate ballots by statute.
I agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, any comments on this?
I think before public comment, shouldn't we comment on it first? Or
Well, I'd like to know why at this time you want to put 3% on the recreation.
To capture tourism dollars because county needs money, don't they?
I mean, it's not even, it won't be legal at that time. So how can you put that on?
Well, I'm doing a ballot initiative to put it back on for the third time right now. This is the third time. We will be making history if we approve this to be the first county in Montana history to approve, repeal, and then approve recreational sales. It's already been approved by the state. No?
I'm listening.
Right.
The law says you can opt out. The
Of
county can
course,
opt out.
agreed. So, and the wording in the ballot language last time during the primary was very confusing, and I had many people come into my store, said they voted yes, thinking they were voting for marijuana, and in fact, they were voting for the prohibition thereof.
Right.
So it was confusing, sir, and the margin was thin enough to justify it.
How you doing with signatures?
I've got 50 signatures I'm turning in after this meeting. And then we have Valley Days this weekend and a week after that to collect. Got people in Drummond collecting as we speak.
So it looks to me like it's just to cause confusion, because it's gonna cause confusion. If you
Like, for example.
Let him finish, okay?
I'm
I'm trying to keep.
Well,
No,
just
no,
the way,
no,
just the way
I'm
the
just-
wording is probably gonna be, it'll cause confusion and people, well, maybe it's already accepted, maybe, maybe we're already doing recreational, they don't know. I mean, if you said they were confused on the last ballot, I think they're really gonna be confused on this ballot, if it was on there, for recreational. Now, I could go medical, for 3%. But I just can't see that.
Okay, go ahead, Nance.
Well, the whole premise behind the initiative for me in this town is just that the language is clear. It's something that a fourth grader should be able to look at and discern what we're trying to accomplish here, whereas the ballot initiative on the 7th and the vote was very confusing. So I just want to run it back and let people vote on it in clear, plain terms, because like I said, it was confusing. I even know that people that were going out getting the signatures came back and said they wanted to change the language because it was confusing. So I'm just trying to do something that's fair, easy to understand, and not confusing, so that people can make a educated and informed decision and not be hit with double negatives on ballot initiatives.
So they should be left off. The recreational 3% excise tax should not be on the ballot because it'll be confusing.
That's up to y'all.
And another thing, I can't remember ever voting for an if something passes. I can't remember ever.
Well, I thought this thing passed in 2020, but now here we sit as it being repealed. So I didn't expect to move here and have that happen, but it did. So, I mean, I'm just trying to give the people the chance to put it back on because I think they deserve it. And I don't want to disadvantage Granite County people and make them drive with $5 gas to Missoula or Butte, when I can provide it 3 minutes out of the town and 20 minutes from Drummond.
So are you gonna be the only vendor?
I'm the only
So you
marijuana
can
dispensary
guarantee
in
that
Granite County right
so
now.
you can guarantee you're gonna be the only vendor in Granite
I
County?
can't guarantee anything. If I did that, I would be omnipotent and I would be God.
So there could be four marijuana shops right down here in town?
They don't allow them in the town, sir.
Hmm?
You're not allowed to be in the town. The population doesn't allow for it.
It has to be
It'd have to be a special election and the town would actually have to vote on it. So no, we can't go into town.
Has to be
We're
out.
outside of the city limits. Do you know where our shop is? Do you know where my
Yeah,
store is?
yeah, I
Okay. I'm just asking because a lot of people don't seem to know where my store is. So I'm just asking because it's a seriously honest question that I'm asking, if you know where my store is. Because a lot of people don't.
Blaine.
Not defending the ballot language from June, but that was the statutory language. So that I guess if there's an issue with it, it's the issue with the statute. I'd say that. And the other issue too, that looked into the, if it passes, that language. Dawson County had it last time. I talked to the Department of Revenue's attorney, they said it's fine. I agree with it. I mean, the distinction between the legal versus the political. I think you're getting into why it shouldn't be as a political reason, and I'm not getting into that. I just think it's wanted to clarify that the Department of Revenue does believe it's legal to do.
I did look up Dawson County. I couldn't find it in the last primary.
That was part of Revenue's attorney told me that. She might have said the wrong county.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did a lot of other counties around there. I mean, she might have just,
Yeah.
might have been up in the Flathead or something, but I couldn't find it.
Okay, so did you have anything to say?
I'm just trying to keep it.
Okay, so on the, okay, so the confusing ballot language was, I understand when Sarah went through the Secretary of State's office, was the way the petition was written. And they had to write it the way the petition was written. And even the group was saying that it was confusing. And I was asked, this language is confusing. And that was by one of the group members, which that in itself, it was confusing. That's the only thing. So you're coming forward with a petition that is simplified. And apparently he has legal rights to do that. Is that correct, Blaine?
Yeah, you can, right now, there's no time limit for petitions, so you can be a revolving door for the
Right.
moment.
Right,
The law may change, but he needs the requisite
right.
signatures to get it on, actually on the ballot.
Okay, so let's just recap just a little bit. On December 7th, we had the ballot issues on the agenda with a resolution, and it was just Chuck and myself that were here. And so Chuck was against it, I was for it. And so we decided that we'd wait until next week for the second reading. And then we decided at that second reading, you were here then, and we decided that, okay, we would not put this on the primary ballot. We would not put these issues on there because the group requested that. It was confusing. They didn't want it on there. And so we said, okay. And then I made a request that I wanted the medical on the general election anyway. And the reason I said this is looking it up where you said it's medicine, you don't tax medicine. Well, it's actually still considered Schedule I controlled substance drug. It's actually the only thing that's approved by the FDA is for 2 very rare severe forms of epilepsy. And providers will not prescribe it. They only recommend it. And you can only find a few that will recommend it. You get your card, then you go. And I've done my research on this, so I'm just saying that this is what it is. So what it's used for is these, like for nausea and muscle spasms, MS, mental disorders, glaucoma, and epilepsy, but it's not proven. But what it would do, I'd understand, because it's marijuana, it might numb the brain a little bit and you're not thinking of the pain you're in. This is where I'm considering my opinion, and but it's not proven that it helps. Okay, in that instance, that's where I say medical should be on the ballot. Okay, but we decided that not to do the ballot issues, and it was because the group requested us. So this is a two-way street. We have another person coming in with his ballot language that he's putting on, that he's requesting us to put the issues on there. So being a two-way street, and we would want to know how the support would be going from the community, whether or not to put this on the ballot. He has every right to say, yes, I want it on the ballot. Just like the group said, no, we don't want it confusing. He's saying, I want it on there because I want them to sign it. That's his right. Just like your group had your right. So that's all I'm saying for that. But
Who's his group? Who's his
well,
group?
it's not his group. I'm just
Just confused about
the
what your group is.
anti-distribution group.
Okay.
I guess we can call it that.
There.
Okay, not your group.
Trying
Sorry.
to understand.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you need to get the required signatures.
Right.
You have to by the 5th, correct?
How many you got?
Or the 8th, right, Monday at 5
I don't
o'clock.
know yet. I'm turning about 50 in today, so I'm sitting officially on 160
So you have to get 401 signatures, registered voters,
through 75.
375.
That is the number I was told.
Okay, all right, so 375. If you don't get those 375, then it's moot.
It is.
What I would like, and why I'm asking for these resolutions to be on, because they need to be on before in the timeline for us to get them on the ballot. I would say on the 2nd, there will be the first reading of these resolutions, both medical, both recreational. And on the 9th, if you don't have your signatures, reject the whole resolution. Only because it's fair to you, like it was fair to you guys, saying that it was confusing. We wouldn't want to confuse the voters. This is saying he wants them, and he has every right to ask that, is what I'm saying.
Well, they can ask that. You know, I go for medical. If you want that on the ballot, I mean,
But okay, here's another thing. Medical, we'd have to say no to both of them because he's saying he would close his doors because,
Did I say that?
yeah, last week you said you'd have to close your doors.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
You
I
said that
said that we would be medical, like we were
we're
in
probably be
June.
out of business. You didn't.
Well,
say close it.
you're gonna be taking away 80% of my business. So
Well,
the
that's
boss
what-
might pick us up and move us, or we may try to come into town, or we may just
What?
close. I don't know.
I could find the timeline where you did say, because I wrote it
Well,
down.
It's not up to me.
Okay.
It's not
Here's-
up to me.
Okay.
It's not.
Now, settle down.
It's,
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Could
it's
me-
not my decision
What
personally.
you said, came out of your mouth,
Okay, sure.
that if recreational, if this didn't pass, you would have to close your doors because you could not make it on medical marijuana because your
That's-
sales were 75%.
Yes, that's possible. Now, if the boss wants to
Recreational.
keep it here in hopes that it comes back, or the initiative or whatever, if we do get the signatures and recreational comes back, then we may
Right.
stay, obviously.
Right.
Because then hopefully, if it does get the signatures and the people do vote and it does pass, we're looking far into the future now. But if, then why would we make it?
If not, then we would reject this and,
Right.
because it'd be senseless to put it on a ballot,
Absolutely.
is what I'm
Agreed.
saying.
Whether it's medic,
Not even medical, because he's saying that he'd have to,
Let-
yeah, okay, sorry.
Okay. So if he didn't get it, and then then it'd be both off of it, medical.
I would
and-
say both,
See, this is where I get frustrated. I don't, or
because what, like you were saying that, okay, what you told us last week, what is your daily sales?
So
on-
yes, or do you want me to answer the question or to let him talk?
well, she asked you a question. Go
Well, then
ahead,
I'm
go
just
ahead, and then we'll go to
confused because I don't
Chuck.
wanna
I'm just
be
trying to keep it all.
Reprimanded and told I'm talking out of turn, that's all.
No, I'm.
Okay,
keeping
am I
it.
allowed to speak now?
Well, I
I
think
just-
I was still speaking, I didn't
Okay,
say my
then I'll
comment.
shut
was- No, but I asked you the question.
Okay, so you want me to dance?
It's okay, settle
I'm
down.
sorry, no, okay. We may, like I said, this isn't my decision. I'm not a CEO of Top Shelf Botanicals. I'm merely the store manager. My boss has told me there are plenty of options for us available should this resolution not pass. We could do a special election to see if we could go into the town of Phillipsburg since they voted us in 205 to 130. We could pick our shop up and go to Georgetown Lake and be right outside the line. That's another option. We could just stay. I don't know. Those are the three options that are available to us as I have been explained to them by the CEO of our company.
What?
But I don't have any say in any of those
But you didn't
decisions.
answer my question. What's your daily take?
1,000 a day, approximately.
Okay.
So 252,000 a year.
So in your first quarter, you made how much? Just, so you
Ballpark,
figure $250,000 you're bringing in a year.
252 approximately.
So
about
you
1,000 a
report
day.
quarterly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so,
Is that where the
That's
seven?
recreational.
well, that's in the store total, but it's about 80% rec, yeah.
80%, right?
Yeah, 75 to 80% recreation.
And that's where that $7,000 to $9,000.
Yeah, that's where the
County.
75 to about 10,000 would come for the 4% on recreational, should we get this thing.
4% or
passing-
3%?
It 3%, yeah, 3%, yeah.
I'm just trying to keep.
Yeah, no, it's
jumping
a
around.
lot,
Okay.
that's, you know,
So what are we talking, $10,000?
well, that's if I stay on the current $1,000. If recreational is allowed to stay, see, right now, everybody thinks that we're closed, and some people think that we can't even sell rec right now because somebody's out there telling them that we're closing down and this and that, so people are confused about everything anyway. But we can still sell rec until September 4th, right? Okay, so by that measure, everybody's buying more because they think we may be leaving. So obviously, my store has done very well in the last week because the pretense is that we may or may not be leaving. I don't know. It's just, but we're employing local people. We're providing taxes, currently. And if this thing happens, and I can't get signatures, it may be a devastating enough blow to have my CEO say, we got to do something.
Okay, go ahead,
So,
Chuck. Sorry.
disadvantage.
You mentioned somebody else owns this company. Who owns this company?
Acme Management Group.
Who?
Acme Management Group.
Where are they from?
They're in Montana. They're out based in Bozeman.
So it's a whole big thing, huh? Let's see.
A company, yes, it is a company like many others in the state. Yes, sir. A company that tries to be profitable, by the way, and does, has 12, 13 stores throughout the state. So we're like other businesses trying to operate and be profitable and provide a service. Yes, that's what we are trying to do. It's not a whole big thing. It's just a company.
Well, it seems.
Okay, well, Blanche was next.
Oh, no, he can finish. Go ahead.
It seems to me like we're gonna make laws for one company or one outfit. Because of whatever best for them, or whatever best for them. Shouldn't we be doing it, this is hard to grasp and all, but for the good of the county, I mean.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do by bringing the tax dollars to the county. That's the whole point of the initiative.
For $10,000?
$3% on.
$10,000.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead, Blanche. Are you?
So the
Let
reason-
Let everybody get.
I just, before we open it to public comment, and the reason I'm in favor of getting these the resolution for these ballot issues is that we get them on the general ballot, it's not gonna cost the county anything. So we get them on the general ballot if you get the correct amount of signatures, then but if we wait and have a special levy, it's gonna cost money, a lot for a special election. I mean, that's,
I'm with you on that. If we're
Okay.
gonna- If he can get the signatures, because I don't want to be having to come up with a special
Okay.
election, then it's gonna, that's.
or we wait 2 years and get it on the
Yeah,
next
talking
general
about next
election.
year. But if it gets on there by petition, then the petitioners would be on the hook for the election.
For the next election.
Well, if there's a petition where they ask for a special election, the petitioners would have to
Pay for
pay
it all.
for it, yes.
Even
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, and with the distribution of these excise taxes, 50% goes to the county, 45% goes to the municipalities, and 5% goes to the Department of Revenue. So that in itself, and what is where I'm coming from, that
Is that on medical or? is
that's
that
on both, if
on
we
both?
taxed both.
Okay.
Like right now, the state taxes 20% on recreational and 4% on medical. And then they have, when you go and look at where it's distributed, at the bottom line, it says general fund. So you know, that's,
Okay, well, we're gonna.
it goes into the general fund,
We've kind of
leftover.
took over here, and then I think the public needs to have a say here. So, come on up.
My name is Heidi Hinkle.
You're gonna have to speak up just a little bit, because
Okay.
we're on this.
My name is Heidi Hinkle. First of all, I'd like to say that saying that the language on the ballot was confusing is wrong. We had many signs up, big signs that told people how to vote. We went around door to door, made calls, told people how to vote. We had ads in the paper, and we also had letters to the editor. We had people that told people. So saying if there's a few people that thought it was confusing, that was not the case. Okay, so this county, Granite County, voted to prohibit the sale of recreational marijuana in this county starting in September due to a grace period. So that's what they voted. So it is currently, starting September, illegal to sell recreational marijuana in Granite County. So I'm trying to figure out how can you vote to put a 3% sales tax on recreational marijuana when it is right now illegal to sell it. Now, you talked about in December, when we talked about the putting the sales tax on the primary. The reason why we wanted to wait for the outcome of the primary election, rather than put it on, and if we won, then you wouldn't need it. But we wanted, that was the whole reason of not putting it on the primary, was to wait to see what the outcome of the primary election was. Okay, it wasn't just because we wanted it. It was to wait to see how people voted in this county. Okay, so this county was voted out, the sale of recreational marijuana was voted out. So there should not be any sales tax vote in November. I mean, it was voted out. People spoke, they voted. I think putting it on the election again is a disgrace to our election system. They don't care how the voters of this county voted unless it is in agreement with them. They want to strong arm you into doing what they want, despite what the voters in this county voted in June. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a big slap in the face to our county voters and our voting system. If you vote to put a sales tax on something that is currently illegal in our county, then you are telling our voters you don't give a crap about their vote in the primary. It did not have any meaning in your eyes. I mean, the people said, yes, prohibit the sale of recreational marijuana. So more or less, if you put the sales tax on, right now, you're saying that you don't care how they voted. So I'm hoping that you will side with Granite County voters and how they voted in the June primary. I think it's wrong. I've had many people tell me, why are we voting again? It just isn't right. So, as for marijuana, the medical, I'm fine with that. I understand people might need it, but recreation right now is illegal in this county. And the voters spoke, and that's who I want to stand up for, is our voting system.
Thank you for your
Hey,
comment.
may I make a
Yes,
comment on that?
Hold on, she has a comment.
I have a
back
comment,
at
well, but just a comment on your comment you're correct. But the turnout for the primary was what, 56%? And 51% voted, yes, they wanted prohibited, and 46% voted, no, they want recreational marijuana. So you're not saying you can't say the whole county turned out to vote for this because only 56% did.
No, I'm just saying, whoever voted, the vote was won.
Right. And what you're also saying is that he doesn't have a constitutional right to bring it forward.
He can do it.
Okay,
but
so
I
that's,
think it's right, my own opinion.
yeah, I mean, that's all we're saying.
you.
And
Don't do that.
Okay.
Well, I'm mostly talking about that 3% sales tax right now.
We're gonna have respect in here, okay? Yeah,
Be
don't.
respectful. I appreciate.
Once
the
I forget, not
opportunity to
constitutional
say-
right, statutory right.
Statutory right. Sorry.
Yeah, give it right, give it.
I say the right
More or
word,
less, I'm talking about the 3% sales tax.
excise
What
tax, yeah.
happens with the petition, that's a whole nother subject, so that's what I'm trying to talk about right here, because that's what it was on the agenda.
Thank you.
So Heidi, one more question. You'd be okay with us putting an excise tax on medical marijuana on this general
Yes.
ballot?
Because that's legal right
Okay.
now in our county, yes.
Okay.
Oh, Rick, come on up.
Basically, I like with that too. Rick McGill, for the record. A question though on the division of medical and recreational, the sales tax. If signature don't produce the question on recreational marijuana, will you still be able to put the sales tax for medical on the ballot this fall?
Can you answer that?
Yeah, the commission could do that by resolution, correct?
Okay,
Yeah,
all
just
right.
solely medical
Oh,
marijuana, yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Chuck.
Well, we'd have to do it now, wouldn't we?
Yes.
So
That's what
the, yeah, resolutions would have to be on, like Blind said, potentially 2nd and 9th of August would be is it have to have notice to Secretary of State by August 15th. That's the deadline to the Secretary of State.
Okay, good. The other comment that I had is just in general, is that when you're doing legislation, you're doing it for the future. And yes, I know there's concern with supporting local businesses, and I totally understand that. What your vision is to anticipate other businesses coming in. And whether that's right or wrong, whether this passes, he could be the first of many. And he's trying to be responsible local business. They've cleaned up the look of their place in there. You can't anticipate what another business would do. A lot of the opinions in the newspaper that we published were concerned about the look that has happened in other jurisdictions. So what you're really doing is having a vision for what could be the future if you pass recreational marijuana dispensaries. Could be.
I guess I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry?
I don't understand what you're saying about his.
Recreational?
No, I understand that, but what are you talking about, his place?
Yeah, I was curious.
I'm asking.
It's all mowed.
It shouldn't be?
No, I'm saying it looks pretty presentable.
Oh.
That's all.
I guess I couldn't figure out where that was going. I'm sorry, I just was
But
lost.
that's all I have. I just had that question of clarification on the medical tax versus the recreational tax, and if you could still go forward with the medical tax, and that'd be beneficial for the county.
Okay. Any comments back?
Hmm?
Okay, thanks. Any other public comments? Is there any on the,
Yeah, we have-
Good. oh, sorry, Elaine, there's one, you got one on here. Just a second.
Gail either.
Go ahead, Gail.
Thank you, commissioners. So I would just say the solution for the time-sensitive resolution to get it on the ballot is a very good one by not passing the second reading, because it would be a moot point if the signatures did not all get established. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, Mayor Danny Reddish.
sorry, Elena, I jumped.
As the commissioners are aware, I don't think Commissioner Hinkle was here last week. I sort of gave you my brief outline. I asked a few questions about the current situation with respect to both medical and recreational marijuana and the dispensary out on the highway. I asked a question as to whether or not there was any problems vis-a-vis calls for 9/11, law enforcement, or anything along those lines. The indication was there was none. I wish that I could say that about my bars in town. Not the same thing. When we speculate about the future and what something like this might mean, I think that it's important for us to recognize that we've had over a year of a beta test. It's already been existing. And in terms of my town, I haven't seen anything demonstrably objectively negative to it necessarily. So all I can do is base my opinions on what I've observed over the last year. And with respect to all due respect to Councilman Hinkle here, or excuse me, Commissioner Hinkle, I'll take the 10 grand every day. That's 2 or 3 fire hydrants for me. I want fire hydrants and manholes. If I get some of this money, it's going right back into the ground for practical reasons, not a special interest, the most common of common interest, which is infrastructure. I'm scraping and pulling and trying to keep water literally in town. So nickels and dimes matter to me. And so with respect to how you want to proceed with this, my understanding is that you're talking about potentiality of putting it on for as an excise tax, is that correct? For both medical and recreational, or perhaps just medical? I want to understand where we're at here, because there's the topic of the situation that's already occurring and what might happen in the future. So also, I would reflect on what Commissioner McClure said with respect to turnout. That's a problem nationwide. It really is. And so consequently, the general election ballot is where I think people express themselves, obviously. And one other thought I had that it's my personal belief that if we forbid this in the county, that is not going to stop illegal sales. It's just not. And in terms of illegal sales, there is no oversight with respect to the product. And so I would hate like heck to have something happen in the future where there was an illegal sale that happened and the individual did this stuff and it was laced with fentanyl because it was not regulated. I guess I'm a practical person. I have practical considerations and all this kind of stuff. While I acknowledge people's concerns about it, I just haven't observed anything negative. And maybe it's because I haven't been paying attention, but certainly I haven't seen anything in that regard. And we need the money. So thank you for the time.
Thank you for your comments. Go ahead, Chuck, and then I got Elena's. You're next, Elaine, after Chuck finishes that. What, you're
Okay.
next after Chuck answers.
I
his-
thought this was public comment.
It is, but he was gonna ask me a question on it.
Public.
I just told him he could talk, is that all right? I said you'd be
Yeah,
next.
you're
You'll
the
have
chair, you
time.
can decide.
I said I'd get to you, I'm not skipping.
So
Go ahead,
put
Mike.
this excise tax on recreational, wouldn't that increase the illegal sales because they don't want to be paying the taxes? That's what's happened in other places I've read, and it leads to more black market.
I don't know,
I can't speak to that.
I
I've been
It's
here long enough
perfectly
to,
obvious.
to,
You can get it cheaper from your neighbor. Why would you pay the excise tax?
Well, you can grow on your own, so hopefully that would inhibit some of the black market things, but there's gonna be black market anywhere. Even in Colorado and California, I mean, Sinaloa is just.
Exactly, so you're admitting there's gonna be black markets here in this county.
There's gonna be black markets anywhere in the world, sir. Anywhere in the world where there is a demand, there is gonna be a black market. So let's just bring that to the forefront. If there's a need, there will be demand and it will be met, be it regulated and
So you
federally
want us
done
to
things.
approve a
Or
black
I'm
market?
talking, I'm talking.
I'm running the meeting.
But I'm
I'm
talking.
telling him, I just told him.
Okay, well then I'll shut up.
No, I just told him to quit. So he
Okay.
can finish. But you're gonna lower it down.
I'll lower it down, but you're going to get black market in any business instance where there is a need, period. So it's brought to the forefront with drugs and illegalities, of course, but it's in any business. With it, when there's a hurricane, don't you hear about pirating on water and things of consumables because of disasters? People have black markets. It is not anything new.
All right, go ahead, Elena, I promised her.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
I just, one sentence, I will concede that there's no perfect solution in this. That's not a perfect word.
It's not.
I believe that the whole process as it evolved in terms of legalization is an attempt to try to make it realistic and reasonable. That's all. Thank you.
okay, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I have to agree. First of all, I support it being on the ballot again. I have no problem with the people making a decision. I agree with a number of the points that the mayor from Phillipsburg brought up. Yeah, it would be black market. And you don't know what they're selling on the black market. Or you'll just have people going over to a county where it is legal. Something was brought up, it says that in this county, it's prohibited. When did that happen? It was legal, that's why we have this gentleman selling it in Granite County. So when did it become illegal? As far as the wording on that ballot in the primary, yes, it was confusing, even for myself, and I'm not an idiot. I had to get clarification from several people. This gentleman, as well as other law people, and they said it is confusing, double negative. I was at the function Friday night at the theater, which was a really nice function where we got more signatures, 50, I believe. And the people that came in from Granite County said the same thing. It was totally confusing. And they signed the petition to get it on the ballot. Now, point of clarification, if they don't get the required number of signatures, then would it be up to the commissioners to put it on the ballot from your own decision, which I think you should, and I think you can, and leave it to the people to speak. Because, again, if somebody, I heard they did, when was it made illegal in this county?
When the vote was cast,
Which vote?
the primary vote,
This last one?
yeah.
That's the wording that was totally confusing. People didn't want this marijuana to be prohibited.
That's your opinion.
No, it isn't. Commissioner, I just said, you're calling me a liar, right? I
He did
just
not
said
call
that
you a liar. Don't
excuse
put
me,
that in there.
excuse me.
We're-
He did not call you a liar, so stop.
I
stop
can
that.
say that.
Stop that.
He did not say that, and I don't want that in.
He said that's my opinion.
Well, that's not calling you a liar.
Give your public comment.
Excuse me,
Give your
didn't
public
I
comment.
just,
We're not getting
for
done.
the record,
Just on the
Can you
excise tax, you
repeat
talking
what
on
I
the
said?
excise tax?
about, for the record, can you repeat what I said about being
No,
at
we're
that
not-
meeting
No,
on Friday night? Okay, then I'll repeat it.
No.
I was there collecting signatures. and a number of people that came up from Granite County agreed. They voted and they agreed that the wording was confusing, and they signed the petition again.
Okay, we heard
Those
that.
50 that we got, most of them said we were confused.
We heard that.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you.
apparently, Mr. Hinkle did.
Hey, hey, hey,
Hey, hey, hey, thank you.
you're done.
Oh, I know that. I would be muted if I was listening in.
This,
He
I'm
said-
not gonna
he said
put up
you're done,
with this.
Elena, stop.
I would cuss away.
I said you're done. You're gonna
Let me
be
call
out
the
of
sheriff.
here.
Let's cool down. a
Well,
little
no, don't tell me,
No,
because
if
I
you-
asked
if you
her
guys
nice.
stop talking,
I
she's
asked her
got
nice.
stuff.
bit. Don't tell you to cool down.
Huh? Yeah, no, I'm
Well, you
fine.
should.
I'm fine. I.
Okay, you had your hand raised.
I can't believe we're really talking about this, of putting an excise tax on recreational marijuana when they admit there's a black market.
Okay,
So this commission is supposed to approve a more of a black market. And that's ridiculous. What does county come to? I mean, what's happened to this county?
Okay, Blanche, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion. Are we done with public comment?
Well,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
just-
no, we're done with.
You've
we're
already
going-
had your
Okay.
public
We're
comment.
moving on. Oh, you have that.
My wife has it.
Hey, I just called, okay?
Well,
Relax.
my wife is gonna speak.
She's right behind you. I just pointed at her to talk.
Thank
I'm gonna shut this off. Go
Please
ahead.
don't shut it off. Go ahead.
Getting close.
Justine Richmond, for the record. I don't see any harm in letting the people vote on an issue. I'm not sure why we want to stifle the public's opinion. I recommend that you have 2 separate ballot issues. Should we get enough signatures for the recreational sales petition? One for or against the recreational tax, and one for or against the medical tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
Is there any more public comment?
No, oh,
Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Rick McGill. The question on the June primary was, shall recreational marijuana dispensaries be prohibited in Granite County? Don't know how confusing that could be. Yes or no? Shall they be prohibited? People voted yes for them to be prohibited, and that's how the vote worked out. That's all I have
Okay.
to say.
thanks. Now we're done with public comment. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we put 2 ballot issues on a resolution. One for if he gets his signatures, however that should be written, for recreational marijuana, and the other one for ballot language for an excise tax on medical marijuana. And we need to get the resolution by the 2nd of August for the first reading.
Can I say something? Okay, so if we do this, he has to have, by putting it on, he has to have these signatures by next week.
He has
I just trying to
until,
get the dates right.
he has until, okay, this is why we have 2 readings of the
Yeah.
resolution.
I understand that.
So we read it the 2nd,
Okay.
and if he doesn't get his signatures by the 8th, then I say reject. And I'm saying reject both. Because he's saying that it wouldn't be feasible for us to do a ballot issue for the medical because he doesn't make enough money.
Well, I'll never support that. I mean, it's, you can't vote if. How are we voting an if? And if it passes, I mean, it's just totally confusing and we gotta leave that out.
Okay, so let the
But-
voter decide. And the language by Blaine
But they
says
already
yes,
decided
Okay.
it's illegal now.
not until September 4th.
Well, yeah, then it'll be.
And
illegal.
they, okay, we're arguing here. I made my motion. You're against it. What do you say? And just. So this is what I'm saying. On the 2nd, read it. We're not gonna know whether he's got his signatures, and maybe he'll have his signatures and can turn them in. by the 2nd. If he doesn't have his signatures by the 9th, by the 8th, by the 9th, we can reject it. I would say reject it, not put it on. But the reason we have to get it on is because this is our last opportunity before.
And this is for medical and.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll second.
We agree, no.
He seconded.
We agreed
He
in
seconded.
the last ballot or before the ballot that we weren't gonna do that. We weren't gonna put it on. We were gonna let the people decide.
Now there's
The people
another,
decided.
there's another issue coming on the ballot,
The
another one for it.
But yeah, well, then let them get the signatures, let them get the vote, and then what we do,
Well, I think
whatever
that's why
we
we
have
have-
to do.
That's why we'd have to put it on the resolution so we can.
Get
let
it
them
on. We
do
need it
that.
on. And you're saying no.
No, but after, if they get it back to being legal, then you can deal with it. You don't deal with something that's not there. It's not legal. After September 4th, it's not
You
legal.
did the same thing that something wasn't there when you said that we couldn't put it on the ballot for the ballot issues for the excise taxes. The same difference that you did on December 7th.
So
I can even give you the timeline.
So somebody with
I'm
the,
looking-
with
I
with
don't
the
wanna
hospital
argue.
levy,
No, we're
somebody
not.
could put a petition in to say that if the hospital levy passes, we want to do something else.
Okay.
Can you do that? Can you do that if say,
What would be the question if the
That's what I'm
hospital
talking
levy
about. I think
passes?
guy needs to put it on because I'm. looking
Yeah.
at it. Let's go ahead, sorry, Wayne.
I mean, it
Oh,
blows my
thanks.
mind that you're voting on an if. I mean. Well, you know where I'm at.
So you second it?
Yeah, because I think it should be put on because of medical and that, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried past.
Now, thanks for standing up for the voters.
Yeah. We're adjourned.
Yeah.